As the season progresses, the Toronto Maple Leafs continue their search for reinforcements that could contribute to a strong campaign toward the Stanley Cup. While the team has excelled in the Eastern Conference, the New York Islanders are facing challenges and, if this trend continues, could end up being sellers in the trade market. This creates an opportunity for the Leafs, who could target Islanders players to strengthen their roster. Here are 4 players who could be interesting targets for Toronto. 1. Brock Nelson. If the Islanders decide to place Brock Nelson on the market, he would likely be the most valuable piece available. The 32-year-old center is a crucial player for New York, with the ability to generate scoring chances and find the back of the net. Nelson will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, and while most Islanders fans hope he stays, he could be an attractive asset for many teams, including the Maple Leafs. For Toronto, adding a top-6 center like Nelson would be a significant boost to their offensive line. Imagine him playing alongside John Tavares, or even on a line with Max Domi. His scoring ability could be exactly what the Leafs need to enhance their offense in the playoffs. If the Leafs manage to pull off this trade, it would be a smart move to ensure more offensive depth. 2. Kyle Palmieri. While it's unlikely that Brock Nelson will be traded, Kyle Palmieri is more likely to be moved. The 33-year-old winger has been one of the Islanders' best forwards and is having an impressive season with 11 goals and 13 assists. He's the type of player that many teams look to add before the trade deadline, a scorer who can make a difference in the playoffs. For the Leafs, Palmieri would be an excellent option to increase offensive depth on the wing. He has experience in big moments and knows how to deliver in critical situations. While he might not bring as significant a return as Nelson, adding Palmieri could provide the Leafs with a solid piece to complement Tavares and Nylander in the offensive line. His combination of scoring ability and physical presence would be a welcome addition to Toronto's lineup. 3. Anders Lee. Although he is an Islanders icon, Captain Anders Lee could be an interesting option if the Islanders decide to make a strategic change. He's having one of his best seasons with 13 goals and 12 assists, which is particularly impressive after the ACL injury he suffered in 2021. If Lou Lamoriello's team decides to trade Lee, he could be a significant asset for the Leafs. While Toronto doesn't necessarily need a classic finisher, Lee could bring a lot to the team with his experience and ability to create offensive opportunities near the opponent's net. Additionally, the fact that Lee is under contract until the 2026 season makes his addition interesting, as he wouldn't just be a rental for the playoffs but a long-term player as well. This could be a great acquisition for building a competitive team in the future. 4. Alexander Romanov. If the Leafs choose to further strengthen their defense, Alexander Romanov could be an intriguing option. While Toronto's defense is already quite solid, with names like Chris Tanev, Jake McCabe, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson leading the unit, Romanov could add a different dimension to the team. He's an aggressive defenseman with a strong physical game, excellent shot-blocking skills, and speed. If the Leafs decide to acquire a defenseman to further tighten their defense for the playoffs, Romanov could be the right choice. At only 25 years old and set to become a restricted free agent at the end of the season, he carries significant market value. Additionally, he could complement Toronto's defense in low-scoring games, helping secure victories in close matchups. Beyond these names, Toronto could also consider other Islanders players, such as Jean-Gabriel Pageau, a depth center who could still add value to the team, or even Maxim Tsiplikov, who stands out as a talented passer and could be a long-term addition to the roster. It's impossible to ignore that the Toronto Maple Leafs are facing a unique opportunity to bolster their roster for the final stretch of the season. While the Islanders are struggling and may become sellers in the market, Toronto has valuable targets to consider. Brock Nelson, Kyle Palmieri, Anders Lee, and even Alexander Romanov each bring distinct characteristics, but could contribute to the Leafs in different ways. In my opinion, Brock Nelson would be the best choice for the team. He combines offensive skill, experience, and the ability to elevate his game in the most crucial moments, especially in the playoffs. However, there's a cost involved. Is it worth giving up prospects or high draft picks to bet on a season that needs to end with a championship to justify this kind of move? That's the dilemma the Leafs management must face. On the other hand, players like Kyle Palmieri or Anders Lee could also be interesting solutions, offering more flexibility to the team without requiring such a heavy investment. Palmieri, in particular, seems like a natural fit, adding strength to the wing and a reliable presence for decisive moments. Meanwhile, Romanov, though more of a defensive gamble, could be a valuable name if the focus shifts to further strengthening the blue line. Now, the question is, who do you think the Maple Leafs should target from the Islanders? Brock Nelson, Kyle Palmieri, Anders Lee, or Alexander Romanov? Or maybe another name you have in mind? Leave your opinion in the comments, and let's discuss how these potential acquisitions could impact the Leaf season.